Good morning, and this is a story of a tragedy that was unbelievable. That that the little boy is fine. I would consider it a miracle that this child survived what happened. The date was Thursday evening, September 4th, 1884. The place, New York City. Now, New York was not a good place to hang around even then, um, but this little boy, he was 7 years old, and his name was Johnny McEnroe. He was a little chubby boy, and he was 7 years old, and he lived with his parents at number 144 Hester 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 Street. Adjoining the house is a 6-story factory accessible by ladder to the house. What Johnny used to do is he used to love to fly his kite up there. And so he used to run from one end to the other, had a huge place. Nobody was there to bother him. And he'd run at one end of the building and run the whole length with the kite after him. But one day he got really absorbed in it, and he was running, and he just ran too far. And striking his heels on the low guard that bounds the row, he fell over the edge on the Elizabeth Street side and turning over and over in the air, falling. Now, people saw this, and they're like, oh, I can't imagine seeing the 7-year-old boy going down 5 stories or more. It appears that he must have gone down about 7 stories from the story. So he was going to face inevitable death. But luckily, there was a telegraph pole near him, and the boy had the good fortune, and it was barely less than a miracle, caught onto the lower wires with his hands, and it was hanging there about 50 feet above the ground. There was no other wires within his reach. Now, the people saw it, and the little fall, and in a moment the crowd had gathered, unable to reach the slightest resistance. The people stood paralyzed with horror, just horrified, gasping up at the little boy gangling by the wires, and between heaven and earth, not a cry escaped from the boy's lips. He was like probably in shock. They yelled, "Hold on tight, we'll save you." And all of a sudden, a young man of 18 named Frank Newman came out of the crowd and said, "Hold on, I will save you." He had been lying on the top of the house, and attracted by the crowd, he'd gone to the edge of the roof. Young Newman took the situation at a glance. This is only 18 years old, noting that Johnny hung nearly opposite the fire escape, but the fire escape only extended to the 5th floor and did not go to the roof. So he had several feet. He was away. Without losing a moment, he clambered over the edge of the roof, supporting himself by his fingers on the narrow line of the brick on the outside of the guide. Now, if I've looked, that is only maybe 4 inches, maybe 5 inches. And he held directly over the fire escape. And the lad saw him and said, "Oh, Frank, please hurry. I'm not going to be able to do anything. I can't stand this anymore. I'm going to fall." And he yells, "Hold on a minute longer and I'll be there," shouted him. Swinging his body back and forth like a pendulum, he cleared the wall, and somehow or another, like an arrow, he shot down through the trap in the fire escape to the fifth floor and caught with his hands the first rounds of the ladder between the fourth and fifth staircase. Now, here he is. He's on this ladder precariously hanging, and people are down there and they're cheering and they're going, it was a fearful leap, but it was successful. And they're hoping that everything's going to be okay. And the little boy goes, I'm going to have to let go. You need to be more lively, he said in kind of a panic. Just one moment yet, said the young man. And he got a precarious hold on the ladder with his feet and one arm and leaned forward so that he could just grasp the lad's wrist. Then he drew him amid the cheers of the crowd. Now, this man's holding on with his feet and an arm and taking the boy, who they say is chubby, by the wrist. He takes the boy in his arms and ascended the ladder until he reached the third floor, where his strength failed him, and he let go of the boy, dropping with the boy to the ground. Neither were hurt, and the crowd shouted itself hoarse. The little fellow's face was white. Frank, I would try that again if I was you. This is all he said. Then he ran away and hid himself in a cellar, where he remained for 2 hours, fearing his parental wrath. Now, Frank Newman was also the man that just about a month ago had saved the life of a man who had fallen from a lifeboat and off of the Hudson River steamboat. Now, this is an amazing story. What a hero. Thank you for watching. Have a good day.